Hey guys, how are you doing? My name is Murat Çetin and today I'm going to show you how to get leads from Crunchbase for your cold email campaigns. As you might maybe know, on Crunchbase you cannot directly get contact information from decision makers on volume, on mass. So I will exactly show you how to filter through the exact companies that meet specific requirements so that you would say that they're ideal customer. And in step 2, how to use Apollo to enrich the decision makers from the company profiles to specifically talk to the decision makers and make them an offer. First of all, you will need a paid Crunchbase account. After you create your account and log in, you need to create a search, and I'll show you exactly how you do that. So you go to companies and then you can just put in some keywords that you want to look for: headquarter location, postal code, industry. So all of these things that you see on the screen here on the left side, you can filter through. And just to give you a quick overview about all the filters that are out there, maybe to have a better picture before you think about getting Crunchbase or not. Here you can see everything. Let's get started. I already have a search that I've created, and the only thing that I want to change is the location. So I don't want to look for SaaS and AI companies in the UK, but in the US. It is right here. And besides that, I only set the number of employees between 1 and 500, but you can just make any changes as you want. So this is actually a thing I do for my client. So I just wanted to show you how that works, and hopefully it helps you. So as you can see, we have here close to 30,000 results. And the first thing we need to do is that we need to adjust that number. So we need to lower that number so it is less than 6,000. So the maximum amount of leads we want to scrape is 6,000. And the reason for this is that you have a feature here, and it is called exclude from this list. And you can only add a maximum of 5 lists, and you can only create lists of 1,000 companies. So if I check the box here, it only saves the 50 results on this page. And if you click here, it saves the first 1,000 results. And then you can create a list. You cannot create a list with all of those 29,000 results. So you can only save 1,000. And if you have 30,000, but you can only save 1,000, and you can exclude 5 times lists of 1,000 batches, you could get a total of 6,000 leads. But if you have 23,000 leads remaining, you would have a hard time to know which leads you already scraped, which companies you already scraped, and which not. And to avoid that situation, I would make adjustments so you can play around with those filters a little bit more, so that maybe you find a better fit. So I would check real quick, and I would exclude those companies that I've already used. Maybe they have another location in the UK, so we already reached out to them. So what might be interesting for this is that we might make this number a little smaller by checking the box that they're actively hiring. Oh, we only have 94 results. This is too little. So we want to stay around like 6,000 results. So let's uncheck that, maybe play around with those numbers here. Let's go from 11 to 50, and we only have 16,000 results. maybe make it a little smaller. Let's see, now we have 15,000 results. Make it a little smaller. So you can, my idea here is that you can make batches, like let's say from 11 to 50, from 50 to 100, but 50 is still too big. And let's check the other filters for now, because this is not getting me where I want. Let's say this is a growing company. How many leads do we get then? Nice. We have 4,244 results for the growing companies, and as you can see, we also have very big companies in here. The next thing we want to do is save a new search, and we want to create new columns. I think here are already all of the columns I need. That looks right. Let's see if we have other things that might be useful for our outreach. So we already have the description, founding date, website. Like for this part, only to get the email addresses from the decision makers, the website and the company name is usually enough. But maybe if they reply positively, we have a little bit more context and we can go back to the sheet and have a look at where this company is. So yeah, all of these things seem enough for me. Let's look at the investor type and investment stage. That might be useful. School details are not interesting for me. Founders and the number of founders might be interesting. Number of funding rounds, funding status, last funding amount, last funding type, total funding amount, and yeah, top 5 investors, number of lead investors, number of investors. All right, let's apply the changes. Quick sound test. Yo, this is a quick sound test. I hope the sound is better now. And the new columns are here updated, and what I would do additionally is I accidentally hit here save changes and the naming isn't correct here for the new search, so I would just create a new search. And what I like to do in my searches is to put in there what kind of filters I did in the search, so I exactly know when I have the search and the leads afterwards what kind of filters I put in and what kind of leads they are basically. So I would just change here United States instead of UK. We still have SaaS and AI, so I can just copy that. We put in there growing, and yeah, we excluded the list, but this is not an important thing. So you can just click here, save as, just paste the new search terms, United States of America, and growing. You can also put this on where they alert you, which is not that important, I think, but yeah. Now we saved the new search, and what you want to do now is you want to save it to a list, so you can just copy again the new name and then you save it to the list. So you check this box and then you select the first 1000 results. All right, it's selected, and now it's here. Now it says clear selection. Now I save it to the list, and here you can see all of my lists. I create a new list, save entries as a list, and now I just put in there part 1 and I just copy the whole thing and create. Perfect. Now I just open the search in a new tab again, going back, and I can now delete all of those. And what I want to do is, let's check if the number here changes. I think it didn't change. And now what I want to do is I go to exclude, and now I put in there the list that I already pulled, and now it goes down by 1000, which is great. Now I click on here again for the second batch and save the second 1000 results. Let's go to lists and open this list again. So we should have here all of our columns. I think all of our columns got removed, so we have to put them here again. So anything that's important to you, you can just put in there: found day, website, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, contact, email, phone number. Those things might be important. I will just go quickly through that. And now what you need to do is you need to scrape these lists, because you cannot export it outside of Crunchbase directly. So you need this tool, which is called Instant Data Scraper. You just, it looks like this. There's like a Pokeball. And now you click on the list, and I already saved a lot of the columns and named them correctly, but how I do it is I just check real quick if everything fits. So organization name is the company name, it's correct. Industry is correct. Company description is correct. Let's scroll right. CB rank is not important for me. This thing here is wrong, so this needs to be the funding date, founded date. Yeah, I just like to have shortcuts for everything I do, so I can just copy paste all of the results. Sometimes if you forgot to check a box for the columns, or you add something additionally, it might get confused, but if you use the same names for the columns in here every time, and you delete the ones like this that you don't need, it usually saves them, and you can just scrape those leads by just clicking start here without changing anything here. But as you can see, for my specific case, it didn't work. This might be better for you to learn how to do this. Company email is correct, phone number is correct. Let's see if this is the funding stage. Number of funding, is this the correct number? Number of founders. Number of founders, perfect. Crunchbase, I don't need this one. I don't need this one. Now we have everything, and what we need to do now, you need to locate the next button. I already did it. You just click here and click on this green one, like where it says next, so it can scroll through all the pages. Then you go back here and you click on start crawling. And what you have to keep in mind is that there are only 20 pages and only 1000 rows or 1000 results. And you can track this by having a look at this number right here. So for now we have 150 results. And sometimes if you have the feeling that it's skipping some pages, you can just increase the delay here to like 9 seconds, and then it waits a little more until the page loaded, so that it can scrape all of the rows without skipping anything. Now we wait until we have the 1000 rows. Alright guys, now we have 1000 rows collected, and if you have a look here, it got back to 1 to 50. So it goes through all of the pages again, so you can just stop crawling and just download the CSV. So as you can see, the number of rows collected doesn't change, even though we have 2 more pages than we actually need. So you just click on CSV here, so it saves it as a CSV. So what I like to do is I just like to so the page is the sheet is called Crunchbase, and I like to put in the SaaS AI growing part 1, because this is like the actual list that we got. And the next thing we need to do is we can close this now, a Google Sheet, where we can also put in the same name as the sheet. So we just copy this, call the list like this, and now we import that list here. Now you click on append to current sheet. Perfect. So now you have a sheet with all of the data you need, and to get the email addresses of the people we want to contact, we need the websites. We can just filter them. What I like to do is, if I need the websites, I check if we have any blanks here, and if we have any blanks here, it will look like this, and then you can just clear the selection, only click on blanks and just delete them if you don't need them, so because you cannot pull any email addresses. So what we need to do now is you just select the whole column. So you just click on E for the specific case, and then you click on command and then website, so it just removes it from the selection. You can just copy everything. Now we head over to Apollo, go to people search, and now it's time to get the email addresses of the people. And how we do that is you just create a people search. You can go to net new, so you don't see anybody that you've already contacted for this specific case. And you can include all of the job titles that's important for you. And what I like here is that you can also put in their owners, founders, C-suite, VP, because some people, as you can see here, they have very different descriptions. So if you just put in their CEO, you might not get this guy because, or this woman, because she has CEO, CFO, COO, and everything in there. So, and if you want to get, so I would also recommend checking the verified button here. And now it's time to put in all the websites. So you can just paste it down here, what we copied before on the sheet. And now you get a list of all of the decision makers, like from the job titles. And we see that we have a total of 1,531 results. And what we want to do next is just click this box, select all people, apply. Now we want to save it, and I just like to have this, well, like this is the same naming I for my sheet. So I just save it, and usually you need to wait like a minute for all of those leads to show up in the lists. So you can just click on the list and wait a little until everything's there. We can just quickly check together, and we see that we only have 999 records so far. And we know that the number needs to be 1,531. So you can just chill here, reload the page until all of the records are there. You can just click on the link. And now we have all of those contacts in here. And now we also have the email addresses, as you can see here. And anything else that you need that I already put in there, you can just add the columns by clicking on this plus, and then just click anything else that's important for you, for the person or for the company. But that's everything I need. And now we do the same. We use the instant data scraper to pull the leads. I just do the same thing, just quickly checking if everything fits. We have the full name, the role, the company name, city, number of employees. industry, email address, LinkedIn, location 1, location 2, website, company LinkedIn, company socials. That sounds great. And you also need to locate the next button here. Oh, what I almost missed is that we are on the second page, and I obviously want to start from the first page, so I just close this and open it up again, but everything should be the same. And now I can just start crawling all of the pages. Awesome. And what's important to note is when you are scraping pages, I would suggest you to leave everything open like this. So if you just go to another monitor, another screen with your mouse and want to do anything else, it doesn't work. If you have a second screen, it does work. You can do some other work while waiting it to finish. But if you like open other programs and do anything else and going away from this setup here, it's likely to stop the progress. I don't know why, but it just does. So just leave it open. By the way, if you are confused with all of this, or you just simply don't have any time to do all of this yourself, feel free to book a call with me. The link is in the description to my Calendly, so you can just let me handle all of the hard work and just take the sales calls with your ideal customer profile and make them an offer they cannot refuse. One other thing to note is that I like to scrape this data 3 times, because if I have more than like 1000 contacts, usually, I don't know why, but some of the rows get missed. Let me increase this number again, as I told you last time, so we don't miss anything. But as you can see, we have 294 rows collected right now, 319, and we should be at 350. And so what I do is I scrape the leads 3 times, and after I scrape the leads 3 times, I put them in the Google sheet that I showed you before. What I do then is I do a VLOOKUP and see which of these email addresses and rows got missed, so I can create a new sheet with all of the leads without any duplicates. So I maximize the chance of not missing any leads by the scraper. And I will show you in a minute how I do that. And by the way, because I said that you should leave everything open like I'm doing right now, maybe a small suggestion from my side, I like to read some books or do some push-ups or some small fitness exercises to use the time productively and not just sit here waiting for the results and the scraper to do its things. So I would also suggest you to do the same, to not lose any time just waiting. And the scraper to finish, and what you can see here is an error which sometimes happens, and you don't have to worry about it. It's nothing bad. You don't have to start all over again. If you have bigger lists, this sometimes happens. But you can see here we already collected 659 rows from 32 pages. And what you need to do is just reload the page. And what I like to do is just go on the same page as here, because we filter the leads out later on. So we are already on 32. So we can just click on stop crawling and start crawling again. And it will just continue from where it stopped, basically. Finished everything, and we have less rows than expected. And for all of the 3 scrapes that I've done right now, it was same. So we never achieved actually the 1531 rows. But let's see if we can get the number after correcting and enriching everything. So the next step we need to do is to go back to our sheet and Let's duplicate this. This is actually the Crunchbase column. I like to call the first one OG, the second one VLOOKUP, and the third one VLOOKUP2. What we want to do now is just empty everything, delete everything, and now we need to import all of the sheets. So now we pull in 20. Let's append to current sheet, import here. Data. Awesome. And now the third one. And finished. Alright. Upload. Now I'll start by 19. Append to current sheet, import data. Perfect. Let's do the same for the second one. Perfect. What I like to do before starting to check everything is to import 2 rows below the header, just to check if everything got correctly. Sometimes, like the website and the first sheet is here and the second one might be here, or there might be additional columns. Things like that happen. So just to be sure that nothing shifts over to other columns. Alright, that looks great. Now I delete everything again. What I want to do now is I add another column at the right, and I have my SOP list here, and I call this column VLOOKUP1. Alright. And what I want to do now is, because I have the G column right here where the email is inside, I want to check if this email is anywhere in this column. So this is basically what this function does. If you just scroll to the bottom or click here, you can see that we have 1275 total rows. Let's check real quick. Alright, that's correct, 1275. And now you can just select a few columns and then put in here 1275, enter, and then Command D. You just pasted everything for the same function for the whole sheet for all rows. And what you want to do next is you just remove the NA from filters. So you select everything, you look for this, remove from filters, you just check the sheet, unselect the header row, and just delete. I like to add a new one. Go to this sheet and then insert one column right, copy everything, paste in here, and then delete this one. Now select everything, filter again, check real quick if everything works. Perfect. And by the way, if you're checking and scrolling down, we have 1417 total rows. So we do the same thing again, but now we put in there VLOOKUP2, because this is how the second sheet is called in the second tab. And then we just select a bunch of them again. And then we put in there 1470, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick. Yeah, that's perfect. And then Command D again. And now we have the result. Perfect. Now you filter again and uncheck the hashtag NA. And then delete everything. You just basically do the same stuff again and again. And then add a new column here, copy everything, paste it in the OG sheet. Bam. Delete this one, select everything, unfilter and filter again. And now you can delete the VLOOKUP column and you are left with a fresh sheet, and we have 1505 total rows, which is great and better than all of them each, because we've added everything that was missing from the other sheets basically. Now I like to remove the duplicates. No duplicate rows were found. That's awesome. The next thing that we need to do is we need to validate all of the email addresses before we send any emails to them. And what we also want to do is we need to format the company names, because as you can see in the company names here, sometimes you have like unnecessary information like here, or you have things at the end like here, YC S21, or you have like Technology Solutions, Limited, Inc., and things that you don't want inside of your cold email, inside of your copy, because it sounds more like you just copy paste it, or it is like automated, and you want to give a feeling of that you actually did some work and made sure that you write the company name like as you would in a genuine email where you contact the owner or some decision maker. So for example here you would just put in air MDR and just leave this. So this is what I would do, and which also works for me. So I would just suggest you to do the same. If you want another video where I show you how I automate everything after this step, so how we get the first names out of these full names, how we format the company names, how we validate the email addresses, and everything that goes after this step, just let me know in the comments and I will create a second video explaining everything. I hope you liked the video, and if you have any questions, just feel free to comment or reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you like. And if you have any other questions or you'd like to see any other tutorials, let me know in the comments what specifically you'd like to see and I'll make a video about it. See you in the next one.